Hello students. Today what I want to do is give you a short tutorial on how to do your Hyperdoc and uh, how to do your project planning document and introduce you to the rubric that you're going to look at for the grading process. So first of all, I'm going to jump in and look at the Hyperdoc first. So you're on Google Classroom and you're under how to ask a question project-based learning topic. So you come down and you click on the Hyperdoc and it looks like this, okay? Now this Hyperdoc is, this tutorial is for US history, but this is also for government as well. All right, so don't be confused if you see US history on here. You're going to do the exact same thing for government. Okay, so moving forward, I tried to make this as easy on you as possible in developing what's called an asynchronous method of learning, which is basically you're going to be doing all of this stuff independently, and I'm going to sit back and watch you, but also be available for any kind of help that you need, any kind of questions that you have, etc. This first task has to do with these different categories. You've got explore, explain, develop, and apply, and then the finished product will be after that. Okay, and I don't want to overwhelm you completely with it all at once, so I'm going to kind of break it down for you in each different task. So under explore, all right, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to select a topic, all right, for the question that you're going to be asking, all right, and that's kind of it's a timely task, believe it or not, because it's the beginning of the quarter, all right, and what you need is the background knowledge, all right. So in this section, what you're going to be doing, and this is going to be throughout the entire school year, is you're going to be participating in the flipped classroom course on Google Classroom. And again, this is also for government. So if you see this, all right, it says look through the suggested topic list, but it also says something that you're interested in, that you can evaluate, that you feel good about. It could be wars, it could be administrations, it could be presidents, it could be people, it could be whatever you want it to be, all right. But as you're going to go through this, Google Classroom will be your best friend, because all of what you're going to be doing is learning about each section, all right, of U.S. history and government. So I'm going to go ahead real quick and just let you know that there's a link to Google Classroom. And again, the link on government is going to be to the government. It's the exact same thing. Okay, so this is where the project-based learning is, but this is the flipped classroom. All right, and make sure that you click on View More, all right, to see all of the areas of U.S. history that we're going to be covering. Okay, now again, it looks like a lot, but really it isn't. All right, so very simply, what you do is you click on one of them, and it's got a video, and it's got a note fill-in. Okay. And what you're going to do is basically just open it up in a Google Doc and fill in the notes as you're watching the video. All right. So very simply. All right. And when you're done, it's going to say turn in, and all of these are worth 10 points each. All right. So that's the first thing you're going to do. All right. All right. Within that. While you're doing this, rather, you're going to be thinking about the topics, okay? Now I have a topic list here for you, and again, I have one for government as well. This is the topics that I've listed for you that you can look through to develop your question, okay? Notice it has World War II, it has the Depression, it has World War I, it has, everything that you need to know, okay? For USVA history is right here. Okay, so you're going to be choosing a topic moving forward. When you're ready, okay, you're going to put in under my topic the name of what you're going to be doing. All right, so that is what's required of you for for the first two squares in this Hyperdoc. Okay. The next one's called explain. All right. Now that you've got your topic, you're going to develop a question. Okay. And some people are like, well, what kind of question are we talking about here? And so your goal is to establish an open-ended question using who, what, when, where, why, and how as your start, using primary and secondary sources. So let me give you an example. What is your favorite color is not an open-ended question. There's an answer to it. Okay. An open-ended question is something that you can take and explain in many different ways using a number of sources that you can use to back up your answer. Okay. So, for instance, this is just an example. What were the consequences of the Battle of Gettysburg? Okay. Now you might think that's a closed-ended question because there might be just one straight answer, but there really isn't. Okay. You can do that from a military standpoint. You can do that from a political standpoint. You can do it from a social standpoint, an economic standpoint. You can just go on and on and on and on and on. All right. That's an example of an open-ended question. Okay. All right. And the primary and secondary sources are going to back up that answer, that question. So you're going to do under explain, you're going to move over to task, and you're going to answer this question. What is the difference between primary and a secondary source? You're going to watch this video and then place the answer right here. Okay. So you're going to click on the difference between primary and secondary source, and you're going to list it right here. That's all you have to do for explain. Okay. So this guy here is establishing your topic. This guy here is to start understanding what a question is. Okay. And then after you're done with that, you're going to move down to develop. And develop is kind of like the meat on the sandwich of what you're going to be doing. Okay. This is one of the most important things, all right, about this project. All right. So instead of reading this to you, I'm just going to tell you that you need to do a lot of research. Again, what does that mean? Very simply, is when you have a topic like the Civil War or like World War II or what in government, what was the executive branch, how much power is too much power, all of that. You're going to have to do research on that topic, specific research. So I have listed a few here. All right, but if you're talking about a person, all right, in American history, you can click on any one of these. And again, this is when you're ready. I will tell you the username and password. It's very, very simple for those. All right, but looking at the Civil War, okay. Again, this is. I'll show you this real quick. It's Fairfax is the username and password. All right. But if you look at, you got articles, you've got tools for the database, you've got anything and everything that you need to know. All right, is all right listed right here, and that's just one source. Okay. So your task, all right, is going to be to explain how you will use 3 of these resources offered in the link above. And this is basically another list of credible resources, but you can use any one, any resource that you use. I want you to take 3 of them, all right, and explain under here how you're going to use those resources. All right, that's it. That's the develop stage. All right, but you're going to need to do a lot of research. All right, to make sure that because the next part of this project, you're going to need all of that research, and if you don't have it, it's going to be very difficult for you to do it, the project. All right, and then when you get down to the next part is the actual development of that question. All right, so you're going to have a list. You should have a list of different questions in your head as to which ones you want to use, but you're going to narrow them down and choose one that you would like to use for the next segment. All right, make sure that it is one that invokes your interest. That's really important too, guys. All right, please make sure that whatever you choose, you actually like. That's a really big deal. So make sure that it's one that invokes your interest and that you have the research to back it up using those primary and secondary sources. And here are some samples, all right? You can't use these samples, but I just wanted to give you a couple just to see what a good question looks like. And again, see me if you need help, all right? And that part is very self-explanatory, all right? Okay, so let's recap, all right? You're choosing your topic. You're explaining to yourself what a good question looks like, all right? You're researching the answer to that question right here. And then you're actually making the question available. All right. Now, the question is made. Now you got to answer it. Okay. That's the very, very end of hopefully the last couple of weeks of the quarter. All right. The finished product. This is the most work you're going to do this quarter. All right. You're now ready to answer your question. All right. So you're going to click on a Google Doc just like this, and you've got an empty page. What you're going to do is you're going to list the question here, and you're going to need to write a 5-paragraph essay in this Google Doc that explains, based on the research you provided, all right, and answering your beautiful, well thought out question. Okay. I've got graphic organizers. I've got help from other teachers. I've got all kinds of resources that you can use to help you. All right, and the way that you're going to be graded is in this scoring rubric. All right, so it's very, very simple. It goes through grammar, goes through punctuation, it goes through all of that. And I'm going to look at the essay before you turn it in to make sure that it's everything that it needs to be. So that's part of this whole thing. So these are the squares you're going to be doing for this quarter. The entire quarter is going to be based on these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares. Okay, between that and the guided notes, that is the entire quarter. Okay, so please let me know if you have any questions. All right, after all this is over with, is the next step. The next step is beautiful. It's fantastic, and it's something that you're going to look forward to. So let's get through the dirty work first, and then we'll move on to that awesome second part. Okay? Let me know if you have any questions.